Mechs. Mechs are awesome. Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show, and welcome back to another Top 10 Countdown. And today I have for you my personal favorite Top 10 mechs from video games. Mechs. More than just a robot. More than just a machine. They're giant robot machines that you get to pilot and have a ball with. Who doesn't want their own personal drivable giant robot? And these 10 games I'm about to count down are, in my opinion, the best games to go to for those of you who love your giant robot mechs. These are the 10 coolest looking mechs. These are the 10 most destructible mechs. These are the 10 most powerful mechs. These are the top 10 mechs from video games. Now please sit back, enjoy, and let the giant robot piloting bonanza begin.
Fuck! You want it rough? You'll have it rough! Fuck!
Number 10. Herr Faust from Wolfenstein: The New Order. Now we have a few mechs in Wolfenstein: The New Order. The infamous Panzerhund, those awesome just robot mechs. But you never get to pilot either of those. You do get to pilot, however, the Herr Faust. The Faust is the giant robot prison guard, corpse removal, and executor of the Nazi prison camps of the New World. Right off the bat, the Faust just looks evil. It looks like the most evil representation of industrial mechanics and Nazi empowerment. The damn thing is menacing and monstrous. But with the help of Set Roth, BJ Blazkowicz is able to find a way to control the Faust. And not just control it, get in it and directly pilot it. And oh man, once you pilot the Faust, you get to lay the giant robot smackdown on those Nazi prison guards. The Faust is equipped with a chain gun and a rocket launcher, both with infinite ammo. Needless to say, these two weapons are far more powerful than anything in your arsenal, and they end up laying Nazis and Nazi robots to utter waste. The Faust also moves slowly and sluggishly, making it really feel like it's a giant robot. So yeah, the Herr Faust, the giant German Nazi robot prison guard, is pretty awesome. The only reason he's so low on this list is, well, you only get to play with him for under 5 minutes. You only get to use the Faust for under 5 minutes. Come on!
You want it rough? You'll have it rough!
Number 9. The Alien Mech from Alien Rage. Before encountering this pilotable alien mech, you actually fight a few alien mechs before building up to it. At first I thought these alien mechs were just going to be a really tough enemy to fight. Turns out, later on, you get to pilot one and feel the power of controlling a giant alien robot. Alien Rage really surprised me with this mech segment. Yes, like Herr Faust, this is only a mech segment. But unlike the mech segment from Wolfenstein: The New Order, you get to play around with the alien mech for much, much longer. And you get to play around with its weapons. The many lasers and rocket launchers the alien mech has at its disposal makes it a real power trip, because throughout the game, there's always the possibility of dying easily or cheaply. So being able to control a giant robot and being able to slaughter those hundreds of enemies that probably gave you trouble and fight other alien mechs with the alien mech, that is pretty awesome. It's also another slow-moving mech, making the mech feel like there's real weight behind it. Adds a kind of sense of immersion. I stop to think sometimes that Alien Rage could have been a great mech game, or the developers of Alien Rage could make a great mech game with the way they created this alien mech segment. Also, at the end of this alien mech segment, you get to use this alien mech to fight an enormous, giant alien mech boss battle. Yeah, pretty awesome.
You want it rough? You'll have it rough!
Number 8. The Jackal from Dark Sector. Let me get this out of the way. The design of the Jackal is simply... it's awesome. It's simply awesome. I can't express enough. The legs, the body, that giant eye in the center. It's an expertly crafted and designed mech. It's able to look imposing, cool, and just plain weird, and I love it. Similar to the alien mech, you battle a Jackal once or twice before you actually get to drive one. And those battles are intense, having to use a rocket launcher to take one down. So, when you get the opportunity to drive one of these bad boys, you can't help but get a smile on your face knowing that you now have control of the giant robot mech tank that was giving you so much trouble before. As the previous two mechs on this list, the Jackal has a machine gun and a rocket launcher, both of which are very powerful, but require precise accuracy in order to kill your targets. Also, unlike the past two entries, the Jackal has countermeasures. So, when your enemies start using rocket launchers to try and take you down, as you used a rocket launcher to take down previous Jackals, you have access to countermeasures, aka flares, that lure away the heat-seeking missiles. So, the sections where you get to control a Jackal are not only empowering, they're not only cool, but they're also dynamic and tactical, as you have to use your countermeasures at the right time to avoid the missiles. Also, tearing away through the Lazarian military, after having to go through some difficult battles with them, just being able to mow them down so easily is just so satisfying. And of course, the Jackal is also a weighty mech. It moves slowly and it moves sluggishly, making it, well, it feels heavy. When driving the Jackal, it feels like a giant, heavy, weaponized mech. And unlike the past two entries again, while the Jackal is just a mech segment, you have two of them at least. You get to drive this thing 2 bloody times. Needless to say, the levels where the Jackal is involved are pretty awesome.
You want it rough? You'll have it rough.
Number 7, the Mech from EDF Insect Armageddon. What I really like about this mech, even though I will admit it doesn't look nearly as cool as the last 3 entries on this countdown, what I love about it is how much inspiration this mech takes from other mechs. It's a walker type mech, aka it's a mech with 2 legs, a head, and a bunch of guns on it. But you can just see that this mech is oozing with inspiration from Star Wars and the AT-ST, and RoboCop and the Ed 209. You can just see the inspiration from those mechs oozing out of this one. And if you look closely, you can even see that it has a simply darker palette color to the power loader from Aliens. This mech is just a combination of inspiration from other mechs, and I can't help but be nostalgic about it. And not just that, the mech from Insect Armageddon is incredibly useful. It is incredibly useful. It, again, like the past mechs on this list, has a machine gun and a rocket launcher, both with infinite ammo. But geez, for a simple chain gun or machine gun or whatever, and a rocket launcher, these damn things do a lot of damage. Bugs exploding into goo all around you. Explosions happening everywhere as far as the eye can see. And by the time you're done pulling the trigger on those weapons, there will be a few collapsed buildings. The mech looks cool, and it has obvious inspiration from other mechs from video games and movies. The mech is very, very useful in combat and can level the playing field with your alien insect enemies. Also, unlike all the past mechs on this list, you get to use this mech in multiple levels throughout the campaign and a few levels in the survival mode. So, you get more than just 1 or 2 opportunities to try this thing out and have fun with it. Giant alien bugs beware, the EDF have their own giant robot to take care of you.
You want it rough? You'll have it rough.
Number 6, MO5 Silverback from Section 8. There are 2 mechs in Section 8 I had to choose from, the Silverback and the Kodiak, and honestly, I just think the Silverback is cooler looking. The Silverback is the mech used by the Arm of Orion faction. And since they're the bad guys in the game, they had to make their mech look as evil and intimidating as possible. What with the yellow eyes, intimidating head, giant claws. Yeah, pretty evil looking. And I love it. The Silverback, like the rest of the mechs previously mentioned on this countdown, has a machine gun and a rocket launcher. That's a running theme with mechs. Give them a machine gun and a rocket launcher. However, nonetheless, the Silverback is a very fun mech to play as. The thing is heavy, and it shows that it is heavy. The Silverback really looks and feels like a giant mechanized suit of armor. It gives a real heavy and meaty and just badass feel. It makes you feel like a walking, living tank. And I will say it again, I simply love the design of the Silverback. It looks like a giant, mechanized, evil-looking piece of medieval armor. The helmet itself looks medieval, almost like it's from Greek or Roman mythology. I love the look of this thing. But looks aren't everything. Besides having the heavy firepower with machine guns and rockets, this is also the first mech on this countdown to have a melee attack. A very powerful melee attack. And if you're lucky, that melee attack may just turn into a badass execution of an enemy. Yeah, the Silverback is just awesome.
You want it rough? You'll have it rough.
Number 5. Spider Tank from Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs isn't even a mech game. Spider Tank is a minigame on your phone. And yet, Spider Tank is one of the most awesome, fun to play as, fun to control mechs in gaming ever. And Watch Dogs isn't even about mechs! Spider Tank is a minigame on your phone! How freaking, just weird and awesome is that? Spider Tank is, well, a giant mechanized spider. It is equipped with, say it with me now, a machine gun and rocket launcher. No surprise there. However, again, they are deadly effective and fun to use. In the Spider Tank minigame, your basic overall objective is to kill and destroy everything. And damn, this thing is effective at it. Not only with the machine gun and rocket launcher, it also has a powerful clawing melee attack that eviscerates anything in front of it. When controlling this thing, it is guaranteed that a car somewhere will explode and people will die. Controlling the Spider Tank is just chaotic, crazy fun when you're destroying everything, well, with a giant robot spider. But right next to all the carnage and destruction that this thing can cause, the Spider Tank also controls really, really well. It's not slow and sluggish like previous mechs. It's actually very agile and maneuverable and easy to control. And since it's a spider, it's able to climb on any surface, walls, ceilings, anything can stick to any surface, and it's so easy to use. It's so easy to jump around and stick to different surfaces. It's so easy to just move around the environment, jump from building to building, move from different surface to different surface. Unlike the other mechs on this list, where it feels a bit like you're fighting the mech, like you're fighting the slow-ass moving mech, like the technology is holding you back from the speed of just being on foot. With the Spider Tank, you feel like you're controlling a giant mechanized spider, and it's so easy to control and move around. Oh yeah, and did I mention, it's a giant robot spider. How awesome is that?
You want it rough? You'll have it rough.
Number 4. The GAN-FreeAM, or GAN-FreeAM, from Lost Planet 2. In Lost Planet 2, there are a ton of mechs. However, in Lost Planet, mechs are called vital suits. And there are a simply ton of different vital suits to choose from. And not only that, unlike every other mech on this countdown, the vital suits have a huge variety of weapons to use from. Not just machine guns and rocket launchers, there's also shotguns and lasers and flamethrowers. Not only do you have a huge variety of vital suits to choose from, you also have a huge variety of weapons to play with on them. However, the absolute best mech, the coolest looking mech, the most fun to play as mech is the GAN Free AM or the GAN-Free AM. I really don't know how to pronounce this thing's name, so I'm just going to call it the GAN. So, the GAN. It's awesome. Its design is... It's awesome. It looks like the perfect combination of Japanese mecha and science fiction mechs blended together. But besides looking cool, having awesome weapons, the GAN can also transform into 3 different forms. Yeah. Not only is it a mech, it's a transformer. The GAN has 3 forms: the Warbird, a light fighter craft, the Slider, a submarine-like vehicle, and its basic vital suit humanoid-looking form. By default, it functions like almost every other vital suit in the game, but it can also use blades built into its arm to perform powerful melee attacks. In the Warbird form, it can fly and use its weapons normally. As the Slider form, it loses access to its weapons, but gains superior mobility and an infinite supply of homing torpedoes. What more must I say? The GAN is awesome. It is one of the most awesome mechs in video games ever. It's as simple as that, and that is why I am placing it as my 4th favorite mech from gaming of all time. The only reason it's not higher is because the upcoming mechs, my top 3 favorite mechs from gaming, they're just better, unfortunately. Doesn't change the fact that the GAN is freaking awesome.
You want it rough? You'll have it rough.
Number 3. The mechs from Red Faction Guerrilla. I really couldn't choose one out of the 3 mechs. I really couldn't choose from the 3. Each one of these mechs is excellent. It's awesome. They're fun to play as. They're cool looking, and they just have devastating effects on the environment. You have the Light Walker, the Heavy Walker, and the Combat Walker, and each 3 of these mechs, they're awesome. But not only that, in some cases, they're a realistic portrayal of mechs. They look functional. They look realistic. The designs for these mechs are they're very believable. Oh, and driving them. Driving one of the 3 walkers is a mech fan's dream come true. The Light Walker is, as its name describes, it's light. It's a lot easier to maneuver than the other mechs. It has a jump pack so it can jump really high. It only uses melee attacks, so you get to see the mech flail its arms around as buildings and vehicles and enemies go flying. Very fun to pilot, very fun to use, and damn cool and slick looking. The Heavy Walker looks like an utter beast. This thing, the Heavy Walker, is badass. Wherever this thing walks, wherever this thing goes, something is destroyed. Whether it be tech, a building, or some unlucky EDF grunt. The Heavy Walker crushes everything in its path. Unlike the Light Walker, it's not as fast and maneuverable and can't jump. It feels heavy, big. You feel actual weight to this thing. And when you start using your melee attacks, man, you feel like destruction incarnate. Everything in front of you it goes. It is no more. And finally, we have the Combat Walker. Unlike the other 2 walkers, this one has weapons. Its weapon being many rockets. I can't begin to tell you how satisfying it is walking around in a giant 2-legged robot while rockets spew forth from it and just create chaos everywhere in front of me. Constant explosions, constant destruction, constant chaos. Combat Walker, also awesome, while I will admit, from its design, it's my least favorable, not as cool looking as the other walkers. The combat walker is a lot of fun for those of you who love destroying stuff. But then again, the same thing can be said for the other two walkers. The mechs, the walkers, and Red Faction, they're one of the main reasons to pick up the game next to the destructibility, the fun to use weapons, and the open world environment.
You want it rough? You'll have it rough.
Now you guys had to know this was coming. Number 2, the Titans from Titanfall. I really couldn't choose between one of the three Titans from which one was my favorite. Each one of them is cool looking and fun to play as. The middle of the road and well balanced Atlas, the light and speedy Strider, the heavy and tanky Ogre. These three mechs are some of the best mechs ever in gaming that's ever been brought to life. And what I love so much about these mechs that differ from all the other mechs that I've ever played as or seen, these mechs, they're not slow, they're not cumbersome or heavy. They feel comfortable, they feel maneuverable. And as the developers have constantly said, and as the game itself says, the Titans feel like a representation, an extension of the player and pilot. These are the best feeling, best controlled mechs I have ever used in gaming. And not just that, the added mechanic of being able to get in and out of them at any time really adds a new level of strategic and tactical usage with the Titans. And not just that, we have the extra added awesome details of the fact that Titans aren't useless without their pilots. They have their own AI. Titans can act independently to you. They can follow you around the battle. They will listen to your commands of coming towards you or perhaps guarding a position. Even without you, the Titan AI, the Titans themselves are effective at killing things, whether it be engaging other Titans, minions, or pilots themselves. And on top of all of that, the Titans have an extensive, fun weaponry to use. You have a variety of ordnance, basically different types of rockets and missiles to choose from. You have 6 powerful, impactful, and fun to use weapons to equip onto your Titans. And another added bonus, you do have some level of customization over your Titans, with being able to add this little Titan insignia onto the armor, with there being a ton of different Titan insignias to choose from and help customize your Titan, add a little style and flavor to it. You can also customize and change the voice, the AI voice of your Titan from 3 distinct different personalities. And geez, the Titans are mechs that just keep on giving. The Titans themselves look awesome. The design of the Atlas, Ogre, and Strider fit their respective classes. The Atlas, with its one robotic eye and its armored humanoid features. The Ogre, looking bulky, heavily armored. And the Strider, looking skinny and sleek and maneuverable. The Titans from Titanfall are awesome. They are my second favorite mechs of all time for very good reason. They have so much good going for them. So why the hell aren't the Titans number 1? Well, cause there is one other game out there that contains my favorite mechs and/or mechs of all time. But before I reveal my number 1 mech game, let's have a quick recap. And my number one mech and mech game is Front Mission Evolved. What else could take the number one spot but a game that is literally 100% completely focused on mechs themselves? There is no specific one mech in this game that I like. There are a huge, vast amount of mechs to choose from, and the best part, they're all completely customizable. The arms, the legs, the head, the chassis, the weapons, everything about this allows you to create your own custom, one-of-a-kind mech. And I have never seen any other game be able to pull this off in such an addictive and fun way. The mechs in Front Mission Evolved have a simply classic anime-esque mecha design. This game is so Japanese and so anime that if you're a fan of either, you will fall in love. You also have an simply extensive amount of different weapons to choose from. You have rockets, missiles, homing missiles, lasers, machine guns, shotguns, sniper rifles, giant sniper rifles. You also have melee weapons, a variety of maces, hammers, and swords. Also, all your mechs are equipped with a jetpack that allows you to zoom across the battlefield, fly in the air for a short period of time. The mechs in Front Mission Evolved are able to feel heavy and weighty and feel like actual mechs, while all the while, with this jetpack, are able to move fast and not slow you down and make you not feel like you're fighting the machine. You really do feel like you're in control of a giant robot when you play Front Mission Evolved. So, let's see what we have here. Completely customizable mechs with jetpacks, an extensive arsenal, and the mechs actually feel like mechs. And that is why the mechs from Front Mission Evolved are my number one mechs, and Front Mission Evolved is my number one game for mechs from video gaming.